Hi, I'm Peter Jones, Chartered Surveyor, author and property investor. And this is the second in this short series of videos where I'm talking about the experiences that I gained when I went on a very high level mentoring experience in the Caribbean a few weeks ago. Now, I'm not saying that to boast, it can sound a little bit OTT really, can't it, going to the Caribbean to be mentored. But there were good reasons why I did it, namely because I wanted to be mentored by a community of my peers, people, in fact not so much peers, but people who I consider to be at a higher level than myself in property investing, people who I look up to and I admire, and people who I'd like to emulate and take my success that next stage further to be more in line with their success. And a number of different lessons came out from that mentoring, which I want to share with you now. Now, I can't go into the specifics of specific advice that was given to the various mentees there, but there were some general points which came out which I think would be helpful. And one of the things which really struck me as I was sat around that large dining room table in a luxury villa in Grand Cayman was not just that I was rubbing shoulders with the mentors, who, as I say, are people who are famous within property circles. If I mention their names, you probably know who they are. But also the mentees who were sat there with me were people who likewise are people who I look up to and who admire and who inspire me. And I realised the value of hanging around in a group of people like that. Why? Well, because hanging around with the right group of people is inspirational. If you're hanging around with people who've already done what you want to do, or people who are just slightly ahead of you on the journey that you want to take, that's going to help. They're going to be able to share their experiences with you. You're going to be able to look at what they do, perhaps even copy what they do, but just be inspired by the fact of the knowledge that what you want to achieve can be achieved because they're slightly ahead of you achieving it already. The other thing which I found very challenging was challenging my mindset and my thinking, because we had the opportunity not just to be together during the mentoring sessions, but we socialised as well, so I was able to talk to people over lunch and dinner and over coffee, and listening to other people's goals and dreams and aspirations and values, and hearing about their vision and hearing about their legacy, for example, was very, very challenging for me. And I realised the truth that sometimes, particularly if we're not mixing with people who are perhaps at that level of success, that we can get into a bit of a rut in our way of thinking. I know that I get into a bit of a rut in my way of thinking, particularly when the reality of life is that I'm not in the Caribbean, I'm sat in my home office working away on my own, which is what I do a lot of my time. And to be challenged to think more deeply, to be challenged to think in a bigger way, was quite awesome. So it made me look at my goals, it made me look at what it is I really do want to achieve, and made me think, well, can I actually achieve more than I'm perhaps imagining I can achieve? Because so many of the people I was with, they've got such big goals and dreams. Now, that's not to say that I should want to be exactly like them. What's right for me is right for me, and what's right for them is right for them, but it's good to go through that challenge and just think and reflect and think, can I be more? Can I do more? Can I achieve more? And of course, at a very obvious level, there's also been able to tap into the expertise and knowledge and experience of the group of people that you're hanging out with. Now, I don't know if you've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, but he talks a lot about the power of the mastermind, a group of peers who you can be with, who you can bounce ideas off, people whose experience you can tap into, maybe people who have a slightly different level of knowledge to yourself or a different area of expertise, and you can call that expertise in when you need it. And that was very much the sense I got when I was being mentored, that as a peer group there was a lot of skill sets there, a lot of different experiences which we can all mix and match and merge and become a very powerful group of people together. So the challenge I'd give to you is to say, well, who is it you know and who is it that you're hanging around with? Perhaps if you're just starting out in property or investing, maybe you're on your own. That's not necessarily such a good thing. So I would encourage you to go out to network meetings. If you Google property network meetings, for example, there's bound to be one or more in your area where you can meet like-minded people who want to take the same journey on property with you. Think about a mentor, think about somebody who can teach and train you. Think about the sort of people who you need to be hanging out with if you want to succeed in property or investing. Because it's going to make a massive difference to your success, and it's going to help you achieve exponential success, and it's going to help you to achieve it far more quickly. So that's the second bit of Cayman wisdom. Just think about who you're hanging out with. Are you hanging out with the right sort of people? If you're not, how can you meet the right sort of people that you should be hanging out with?